if you ever wanted to know what it's like to be a brand ambassador for a major tequila company, this episode is for you. We're talking with Alan from Cazadores. Alan is traveling pretty much every 3 days, flying around the country, talking about tequila, drinking tequila. A lot of fun, a lot of energy on this one. So if you want to know what the life of the brand ambassador is, this one's for you. Stay tuned. All right, buddy. We are live. My man, it is really, really good to see you. I wore my t-shirt for you.
I like it. They had the same T-shirts, eh? I like it.
Dude, I've been sitting on this. I don't normally take swag from our Arte Agave events, but when I saw this t-shirt, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna hold
You
on
look
to this one.
amazing. I like it. A lot of people are looking for those T-shirts, and we don't have those anymore. So
Dude, this was such a cool one, man. It was really good, and yeah, this I don't like I said I don't normally take swag at my own events, but I was like, oh, this is definitely a keeper. I love it. So yeah. So man, what's going on, brother? I want to know, dude. I get exhausted watching you on Instagram. Like I'm like, man, this guy is in and just off screen before you just got back from Orlando, right?
yes. I was in Orlando for one day. It's one of the road shows that we're doing to celebrate the 100-year anniversary of Tequila Cazadores. So I've been going just in 1 month and a half. I was in Phoenix, Tucson, Mexico City, Guadalajara, Miami, and then I went Miami before that, and then I was San Antonio, Chicago, El Paso, Houston. I'm here for a couple of weeks, and then I continue traveling. Now,
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you, man. What is the day in the life of Alan, the Cazadores brand ambassador? I mean, what's a week in the life? Is it just are you just traveling all over the place? Because to me, I'm like, man, this guy is event activation, city, city, city. What is it like to be you for a week?
well, first of all, I really love what I do.
Mm,
Seriously, I think it's in Spanish it's a saying about and I think I like to take it as a part of my job. Like my job is like in Spanish we saying como anillo al dedo. Like
mm.
the job it just suits me perfectly. It's just I love it. It's something that me as a Mexican representing a tequila brand and talking about tequila for me is representing Mexico. So I really do not get tired to talk about Mexico. It's in my blood, and basically I just try to take. I like to have fun when
Yeah.
I'm working. I want to be creative. I like to, I think it comes from back home from my parents. They are very hospitable. Like they love to throw parties all the
Mm.
time. So anytime you're in Guadalajara, let me know so you can meet my parents and we can do a cocktail hour and then so that's what I do. And then so basically for me when I'm in market, which means I'm based here in New York City,
Yep.
I try to work with the local team. When I'm saying the local team, and I'm trying to work with my primos, how we call it, people who work for Bacardi, because it's still a family-owned company. So I try to call my primos and be like, hey guys, I share my calendar to them, and I tell
Mm.
them I'm going to be in this week or this month. I'm going to be these days of the month. I'm going to be in New York City. So they already know in advance. So they book me. They send me calendar invites. For example, tomorrow I'm working with some of the local team, and then we want to start at the top of Manhattan and we want to finish in Brooklyn. So if you want to hang out tomorrow for some tequilitas, let me know. And then also I try to catch up with friends.
Yep.
Seriously, I think when I'm in local in New York City or when I'm traveling any another market or any another state, I try
Mm.
to as much I can try to make some room to hang out with friends and catch up. I think it's part of the experience that I have as a brand ambassador to travel. It is I try to have a little space of catching up with friends, a little space to go visit some museums when I'm traveling, or maybe something that It is very important from the city I'm visiting. I was in Orlando. I couldn't go to the parks, but I was very tempted to go maybe to Echo Center or Universal Studios, something like that. But it was a quick trip. But
Yeah.
this is what I do, and I love to go and explore new restaurants, new bars, all restaurants, all bars. I try to support as much I can to the Cazadores account, so the Cazador bars that they carry Cazadores, and then
Mm.
also I try to go visit, uh, some other places I've never been before. I'm a foodie. I love to eat food. I love to try new cocktails. I am, as you know, I'm an agave fan, so I
Yeah.
not only love tequila, but I love all agave distillation spirits. And yeah, this is a little bit what I do.
But I mean, so let's back up a little bit. Before Cazadores for you, what were you up to? Were you bartending? Where were you at? Like, what's your background before becoming a brand ambassador for Cazadores?
Uh, Before I tell you, my
Uh-oh.
throat's getting a little dry, so I want to drink a little tequilita. This
Please
is
do, my
our.
man. Please
Do you
do.
see our new image? This is our new Tequila Cazadores new image to celebrate the 100-year anniversary of Tequila Cazadores. So these are new babies. So I'm super excited.
My man,
And
that looks cool.
it's super cool, right? And
Yeah.
it's so we have the blanco, the reposado, the añejo cristalino, the extra añejo, and this is just part of the celebration of the 100-year anniversary. And I was just in Guadalajara, and I was visiting one of my siblings, and he gave me this beautiful
That's cool.
copitas or shot glasses.
Nice, man.
So,
Nice.
oye, salud for. Oh, there you go. Salucita. So good to see you. Thanks so much for inviting me. This is a lot of fun. Always going to see you, and whatever you do, it's always a great time to catch up with you. So salucita.
Salute. It's always nice to see you because people always tell me they're like, "Walt, you have so much energy and it's blah 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 blah." But then I see you and I'm like, "No, no, no, no. You're like another level than me, man." It's like I'd never not see a smile on your face. You're never not laughing. You're never not creating the experience around you, man. So it's really cool to see because listen, I know a lot of brand ambassadors. I've been a brand ambassador. That job can wear on you like quickly, especially you just mentioned, I don't know, like 14 cities in 30 days. Like most people, that's going to burn out. With you, like when I'd see you in Texas, you're like, I was here. Then we saw you in Austin. You're like, let's go. Let's do it
Let's
again.
go.
Like,
For me, it's a fiesta. No, every time when I go, it's like it's a fiesta time. I just trying to leave an opportunity, like each occasion is important, no? And for me, I take it very seriously because I want to make as many friends possible. And I'm telling you, I'm representing a tequila brand, which is Tequila Cazadores. But at the same time, I feel like I'm representing the agave spirits in general.
mm,
And then at the same time, I feel like I'm representing my own country, it's the
yeah.
Mexico. So it's something that's in my blood. Seriously, it's very, very weird that you see me exhausted, which it happens, eh? But then
Yeah.
if I'm tired, I'm just stay home. Like I'm not going out.
Smart move. Yeah.
Yes, yes. But before actually I was um, brand ambassador, I work in the restaurant industry for about 15
Mm,
years. As you know, I'm born and raised in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. I studied there until college, and then after that, I kind of relocate. I went for vacation to Washington D.C. because my sister used to live there. She used to work for the Mexican embassy, so I went to visit her for a summer, and that summer I asked my sister if she can find me a job to make some dollars and take those dollars to Mexico. And she's like, yes, definitely, like, come and visit me, stay there as much you want. I get you a job. So one of the jobs that she gave me, it was in a restaurant. We start knocking doors. She's like,
mm.
oh, this is my brother. He's looking for a job. I barely was speaking English. and I got my first job as a busser, as a
Yeah.
bus boy, Silver Spring, Maryland. Oof, 15
Really?
years ago.
Yeah.
Yes. And for some reason, and I fall in love with the industry.
Yeah.
I really did because I was asking a lot of questions to my superiors, co-workers, and how you pick up the glasses, how you take your orders at the servers, how you create all these cocktails, what happened in the kitchen, how you do as a managing, opening the shift or closing the shift. So the people they saw me that was very curious and they started giving me opportunities to work on those positions so I worked every single position in the industry, in the kitchen, on the restaurants. I was a busser, a bartender, a bar back, in the kitchen a little bit. I'm not that good in the kitchen, to be honest. And then I was a host, and then I ended up being managing restaurants. And
Wow.
mostly of my experience in the restaurant industry and the hospitality, I've been managing restaurants. And then I relocated to New York City. I ended up having a great opportunity to work in amazing places. I opened the Edition Hotel at the Clock Tower with Ian Schrager for Studio 54, with Jason Atherton from London, Michelin star, Steven Starr, who is one of the biggest restaurateurs.
Wow.
And I have a great opportunity to open that hotel. And then after that, I had the pleasure and honor to work from Enrique Olvera at
Wow.
Cosme. I was the beverage manager there. By the time I was there, Cosme became the best restaurant in the world,
Yeah.
number 45 or 40 something. Now there are, I think, 15. They're doing really well, and it was an amazing experience. And then also I ended up working at Dante Genuine, which is one of the best in the world. And then I was working at Seamstress with Pam Whitspring. I was mispronounced her last name. I'm sorry, Pam.
Wisnitzer? Yeah, I think we got it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Sorry, Pam.
Luis Hernandez, Shanning, Crystal,
Jeez.
Taylor, Eloy, such an amazing family that we created at
Yeah.
Seamstress. And I, my brain started kind of like a ticking that, well, I already been managing. I was general manager of restaurant, assistant general managers, beverage manager. I was bartending, but I don't know. I feel like I was missing something. And every time when brand ambassador was walking into the restaurant I was working at, I always felt like that was the coolest job ever.
Yeah.
They're walking in and there was like a shining stars, no? Who the hell is these people, no? And it took me a while to realize that that's what I really wanted. And
Mm.
I started knocking some doors. I
Yeah.
knew that I wanted to work for a Latin brand.
Yeah.
Because you can see my accent. No,
Yeah,
I
dude.
can
I mean,
know.
you epitomized like a tequila brand ambassador. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's you when I see you, I'm like, this is a tequila brand ambassador. Like it just makes sense.
Yeah, thank you, and seriously, I couldn't ask for a better company and brand to represent. Like it's Tequila Cazadores.
Yeah.
Work directly for Bacardi. It's a great family, and seriously, when I do my educational trainings, by the time I start and I introduce myself and I tell them who I am, I really tell them that the truth that when I was in Mexico, I remember seeing my uncles, my grandparents, my parents, family, friends, and myself. We've been drinking cazadores.
Yeah.
It's a tequila that we've been there for the 100 years. So and I feel very proud, and I feel because I really do believe in the brand, and that I think it makes me have a very authentic personality and job, and I
Yeah.
just have fun. Seriously.
Yeah, you don't ever look like you're working when I see you. And that's not a diss. That is like I see you working and I see the events you do, the activations. When you do Arte Agave with us, I'm like, oh, this man has got it locked in and setting up. But you're not, there's some people that come in and they're very stressed and they're sweating and they got things they're doing. You're just it just all makes sense. Like everything you're doing from the time you walk in to the time you walk out is just seems to come easy to you. And like I said, that's not a bad thing. It just seems to be, it fits you very, very well, where you're not trying to become a role. You're just the brand. The brand is you. It's one and the same. Like I almost feel like you own Cazadores because it just fits you so well. It's great. It's great to see.
I want to send this video to the owners of Bacardi. So maybe, hey, you should give me some shares.
So wait, so 15 years before you became, like, you started working in restaurants. 15 years later, you're the Cazadores brand ambassador, and you said you didn't really speak good English when you started in restaurants.
I studied English in Guadalajara, and it was no good, to be honest. For me, it was because I don't know. It was complicated for me to understand English, and then also I was in Guadalajara, and even that we have the cable and all these. I remember MTV was exploding back then, so I remember seeing all these great hip hop songs, rap, pop, watching in the TV. And of course, that's what it makes me actually really visit my sister in Washington, D.C. and relocate. And I started getting into, this is what I want to be. I want to go to the United States. But it's always been a little complicated, the English for me. But then once I was already here, I have no option. It was already here.
Right.
So my biggest teachers to learn this new language, it was the people in the industry. Mm-hmm. And I went and I tell them, please correct me. If I say something wrong, you have to let me know, because otherwise I don't know. I think it's correct. So with the years, it just got a little better and better. And then, I love reading, and that's I think one of the things kind of helped me. And now it's been 15 years in the industry. And right now with Tequila Cazadores, it's been 3 years and 9 months and 3 weeks and 24 hours.
I just think it's cool, man. I love stories like that. I mean, when I worked at the Bowery Hotel, I had he was a busboy in the restaurant that became a bar back and then became our bar back. And he spoke like no English at all. But I would go into the locker room, and an hour before he started his shift, he was sitting there reading English, and but he had the same mentality as you. He's like, just do me a favor, talk to me, correct me. He goes, don't just yes me and figure it out. He goes, I want to know. And he literally became, he went from busser to this, to that, to being like the main bar back for us in the whole entire hotel. And he just worked his butt off and kind of worked his way up. And like, I love stories like that. I love people that just like, this is me. I can't imagine for me personally, going to another country, not speaking the language and doing stuff. It would scare the hell out of me. So when I see people doing it and just being like, well, here we go, we're going to do it. And then seeing your success story, man, it's really cool. And it's very inspiring.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. I think one of the things that each job that I had through the restaurant industry, each position that I had, I never was the best, to be honest. I'm not good with coordination. I forget stuff, but I always had the attitude. I always 100%. And if I make mistakes, recognize those mistakes, fix those mistakes, and have this attitude of happiness, smile. It's not the end of the world. It's we fall and we come back stronger, like that kind of things, no?
Yeah. And that's, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, something just kind of popped here. I'm just gonna check. Sorry. All right, we continue. Yeah, man, that's it's super cool. And it's like I said, there's so many people that just sort of they'll worry about the problems, they'll worry about the bad, they won't just keep moving on, they won't go to the next thing. Like, it's like, oh, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, so whatever. But just hearing your story, then hearing how you're like, I wasn't the best at this, I wasn't the best at that, you know, that's cool too, because you're like, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to go to the next thing. I'm going to go to the next thing, go to the next thing. And I bet if I talk to everyone at your company, I mean, you've been there almost 4 years now, they're going to be like, yeah, he's really good at this. You know, he's really good at being a brand ambassador. So like, it kind of doesn't matter in the end. Like, you got to recognize that no one's perfect, and you just recognize your faults and recognize what you're really good at, and just move on to the next thing, and not stress those little things that you're not that perfect at.
Yeah, seriously. And then I feel that the best school that I have been having is the restaurant industry, and it's just learning from the people. I have a lot of mentors, and maybe some people, they are my mentors, and maybe they don't know that, but I watch people, and I try to take what is the best techniques that they apply to their lives or their job, and I was like, oh, I see this. Okay, so maybe I can do my own version of that. It doesn't mean like I'm copy and pasting everything. No, I feel like, I like to use social media. No, I love it, and I was a couple of weeks ago with my family, and we have dinner at my parents' house, and my family is very artistic. They love to paint. My dad's an architect. My mom is like interior designer, chef. My sister was an architect. My brother, interior designer. Everybody paints. If you go to my parents' house, you will see a lot of paintings from my family, but I do not paint. I just that's not part of my gift. But I realize that part of my creativity or part of my family creativity is through maybe my social media, and I have fun a lot about it. And it is something that trying to realize what is your passions, what is like you can, like I'm telling you, I have fun when I work with Cazadores, and I try to
I
see.
know.
And I try to, when I travel a lot, no, and I try to do like a little journey through if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. It's at Alan Ruesga. And I love to do stories because, and it's my journey, no, from who I am as a Tequila Cazadores brand ambassador in North America. And it's me, the traveling, the doing presentation, educational trainings, events like Arte Agave that we did in Austin, Washington, D.C., New York, and I don't know how many other cities we did it.
We're in Atlanta as well. Atlanta.
Oh, yes. And it is seriously, I know what it's an idea what it's going to be in my future, but we are building our resume. This is my career. So whatever I'm doing, it is just like if I want to do this job, it better be a really good job. And I apply every day. No, if I'm going to Orlando, if I'm going tomorrow I have some educational trainings, and I'm already thinking I'm going to have a lot of fun with these bartenders I want to visit, and the people who's going to work with me, my colleagues or primos. So it's that kind of mentality I have. I don't know.
Yeah. So where do you, you mentioned your family a couple of times. You said they're always having parties. It's very artistic. Do you get, who you are because of your parents? Like, obviously you grew up with your parents, but like sometimes, people get other inspirations from other people. So what was your childhood like, surrounded by people who like to have fun, who are very artistic? I would love to have a snapshot of like your household when you were younger growing up.
Yeah, no, seriously, my family, it's a huge influence on me. I'm the youngest of three brothers and two sisters.
Oh, wow.
And some of them, they still live in Guadalajara. Some other ones, they live in Mexico City. I have another sister who lives between Monaco and Antigua. And I'm the only one here in the United States. But for me, growing up in Mexico, my family, it's full of energy. I don't know. Sometimes I think how my parents deal with that much energy, because we used to go and do road trips like for a month, and we are like in one SUV car,
Yeah.
and
The whole family?
everybody has energy and things like that. We
Are you
used to
guys
go
like
from
singing songs? Like what's going on
yeah,
in the car? You're
we used to drive
like the
from
Griswold from Mexico or
Guadalajara
something?
to Disney World driving. It was like a month trip, and then sometimes we used to have trips to the beach, and it used to come my grandparents from my mom's side and my grandparents from my dad's side. Plus, some of them we needed some nannies sometimes because there were so many of us. And but my parents, it was they are very social,
Hmm.
and they love to do a little reuniones, how you call it, a little fiestas in at their house, or they're getting invited to a lot of weddings, reunions. My entire siblings and families, we like fiestas. Seriously, any kind of opportunity, we bring mariachi. If it's not mariachi, karaoke. If not, just music. Tequila's always involved,
Yeah.
and it's just about uh, making jokes, remember great stories. And when my parents used to do these reunions at my parents' house, each of my siblings, we were responsible on one task on during that parties. Like
Hmm.
some of my siblings, he was in charge of the food. Some
Yeah.
other ones, he was in charge of the botanas, of the snacks, to make sure they always fill. So no one, another sibling was in charge of the cocktails, refilling the cocktails. And I think since I was a kid, we already kind of looking these fiestas a little different. It's
Hmm.
about just have fun, but then also it's that everybody has fun and being very hospitable to make sure that when they are at my parents' house, they have a memorable experience. So
Yeah.
since then, it's so thanks to my parents. Gracias, mamá. Gracias, papa.
So you've been training for this job all your life.
Yes, basically.
Yeah.
Cheers for that, for mis papas.
That's super cool. And that's a lot of fun. So how often do you get back? I mean, with all your travels, how often do you get back to see your family?
Actually, now one of the greatest thing about my job is that it gave me the opportunity to go and visit my family more than I ever did in my entire life. Well,
Awesome.
since I moved to the United States,
Yeah.
because I was visiting my parents maybe like twice a year or once a year sometimes. But now to go to Tequila Cazadores distillery, you have to fly to Guadalajara, and I
Yeah.
am from Guadalajara, and my entire family is from Guadalajara. And so I always get an opportunity when I'm there for work. I stay some days before, some days after, and I stay in my parents' house. And the greatest thing is when I bring bartenders to Guadalajara, whoever comes to me to Guadalajara to visit the distillery, I'm hosting my own city.
That's
How
awesome.
cool is that? No,
That is
it's just
cool.
and then I have a great friends there. I have this last time I make every time I go to Guadalajara, I make more friends and more friends and more friends. And it became Guadalajara more fun and more fun. Restaurants, nightclub, bars. I take the opportunity to visit more distilleries.
Mm.
I like to go visit breweries. I love beer.
Yeah.
Besides agave spirits, yes. And I always try to, like I'm telling you, if I'm traveling, I'm saying which museums are there, who I can go visit, which distillery I can visit, or which brewery I can visit. And it's just knowledge. It's make a new friends, and taking the opportunity of the advantage of these trips. If I'm already in that city, let's take advantage of that.
Right. Yeah. So with all your travels, I mean, you're going to tons and tons of restaurants. I mean, obviously the hospitality industry has been crushed over the last 2 years. What do you notice or what do you like about restaurants? I mean, obviously there's going to be good food and good cocktails, but are there some intangibles, some little tiny details that like you see that are better than other restaurants? Like who's doing it? Who's doing it better than others? And you don't have to name anyone specifically, but
No,
like,
I think working in the industry is three rules for me.
mm,
One, it's good lighting.
mm,
Two, good temperature. And three, good music.
wow.
If you nail those three, you can maybe make a lot of mistakes. But if you have a good lighting, it makes that ambience, no, that
Yeah.
it's whatever you're trying to represent. If you have a good temperature, people they have to worry about the jacket or not the
Yeah.
jacket or it's too hot, things like that. So it's something that they don't have to worry it. And then music. For me, I've been going to a lot of places, hotels, bars, airports, and I'm like, what the hell is that music? I'm like, what they're playing, but then if you have a good music, and I love music. For me, since the time I wake up, by the time I go to bed, it's always
Yeah.
music. When I'm on my social media, when I do my stories, I always try to play with a really cool music,
Yep.
a little cumbias, a little salsa, a little like electronic music, or it's depending if it's in my mood, to be honest, or whatever I'm representing that video or image I'm sharing on the social media. But these trees, I think that's the rule.
Wow.
I don't know what's the name of this tree. I should name it, or
You
maybe I
should
already
name
exist.
it.
I don't know.
Because they're all things that can be easily overlooked. However, if you're at a place, there's always lighting, there's always temperature, and there's always music. And people just sort of and they just overlook it. And that's really good to know, because I've been to places where I'm like, man, I'm sweating, or I'm freezing, or why is it so dark, or why is the music so loud? You know, and that's one of the things too. I'm like, I'm at a restaurant, I don't need it blaring like this. Or you're like, what is this elevator music? Like, why are we listening to this? And they just think, well, it's just the background ambiance stuff. But I'm like, I still have to listen to it for the hour and 37 minutes that I'm here. And I never really thought about it that way. And those are three really cool answers that I hardly ever get. But people don't think about it. They just think, well, the food is this and the service and da da da. But yeah, those are some really cool things, man. That's a good trifecta that you got to put your label on that one, man.
Yeah, right. And seriously, and I hear that from someone else.
Yeah.
Many, many, many years ago, when I was in Washington D.C., I remember some of the some of the owners or the director of operation kind of mention it, and I was like, huh,
Hmm.
I will never forget that. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, it's those little things. I always say it, even at a dive bar. I'm like, can you just clean the bathroom? Just I don't mind a piece of crap bar. I love them. Like, give me a shot, give me a pool table, give me a jukebox, but just give me some toilet
for
paper.
me, it's if the bathroom is not clean, for me, it's like it might be the same in the kitchen. You
Yeah,
know,
I 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. And I always think about that. I'm like, why would you not clean it? Like, why is it not clean? Like, my wife's always like, why is there no toilet paper? Like, what the basics, it's those
it's
little tiny
just
details.
it's at the end to be for me that I worked many years in the industry as managing. Well, at the end it's managing, creating that kind of service or hospitality. But at the end, you have to be who's going to do that job, right?
Yeah.
And how often they have to do that job. And if the bathrooms are not clean, it's like that person who is designated to do that job is not doing it. But also, it is the manager actually checking. If it's
Yeah.
I mean, being a restaurant manager, it's not easy. It is a lot of responsibility. It's not well paid. It's a lot of hours. So it takes, and then also sometimes it's about the owners of your superiors, because if they are not, some people like you're saying that earlier that they get stressed, no, and they don't know how to educate people, so they just yell. Why you
Yeah.
don't do this? Blah 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 blah, and you're like all scared, and you get angry too. And what do? You exactly do the same to the staff. You start
Yep.
screaming at them because you're learning from your superiors, and it just becomes a circle, and no one wants to. It is not like a good ambience, good dynamic. It's not like a family. So it is sometimes. It's not about the managers, it's about who is on top of the managers, no?
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense, man. So tell me, you mentioned 100 years a few times here. This brand is 100 years old?
It is the recipe of Tequila Cazadores. Actually, this original recipe, the reposado,
Yeah.
the secret recipe was created in 1922.
Wow.
So this year, we are celebrating 100 years anniversary. So we doing part of the celebration is it's our new pack. So we have the Repo, we have the Blanco, which are beautiful bottles.
Yeah, that looks
We have
sweet,
the Añejo,
man.
and then we have our Cristalino, and it's on the making the extra Añejo because we have 5 bottles, and then we're going to do a lot of big fiestas. You know,
Yeah.
to do a proper celebration, you need to do a proper fiestas. So
And who better to do that proper fiesta than you, my friend?
seriously, I was just talking to my boss yesterday. I was like, I just loving it. I'm going to Chicago, I'm doing a fiesta. I'm going to San Antonio, I'm doing a fiesta. I'm going to El Paso, I'm doing a fiesta. Wherever I'm going now from this year and maybe for the next year too, basically my job is just throwing parties. And it's just, of course, it's the planning. It's
Yeah.
been months of planning. What do we want to do? What is how should we throw these parties? And so we've been planning this for many months, and now it's slowly we wanted to execute these fiestas. And for me, it is so well prepared. So by the time I'm going to these fiestas, I don't have to worry that much about details. I need to be
Smart.
there 1 hour early, checking that everything looks perfect, cocktails that taste great, the food is ready, the room it looks proper. How you say set up,
Set up. Yeah.
and then I just have to wait until the guests
Yeah.
walk in, and then I
Yeah.
just host them. I'm like, let's have fun, and we usually have mariachis, which I love mariachis. I love norteños. We did it in El Paso, Texas. We started with a mariachi, and then we finished with a norteño, which is a 3 band with the with the accordion. I don't even know how I say in English, but it's always great fiestas, and seriously, how many brands they had the opportunity to celebrate 100 years old.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And
How many brands can say they're 100 years old? I don't
yes,
even know that.
and the things that I like to communicate a lot is that yes, we are celebrating 100 years old, but at the same time we've been adapting with the planet. We are sustainable. We are zero waste to the landfill. I really do believe that we're still very traditional, very genuine. We are the tequilas people. This is something is being part of Tequila Cazadores, and it's people, especially the number one consumer in the world in the tequila as a category is United States.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people, because we have Mexican Americans like a first generation, second, third generation, and they are feeling just so proud of enjoying tequila cazadores because they know that, oh, my father used to drink tequila cazadores, my grandfather used to drink tequila
Yeah.
cazadores, and that's why they continue like this tradition of enjoying tequila cazadores. But then also we have the new generations. We have that right now tequila as a category and all agave spirits. We are on fire.
Fireman.
I've been telling my parents that I feel very lucky to represent a tequila brand at this moment.
Yeah.
Because a couple years ago it wasn't like this.
No.
So I feel super lucky, and you know better. You
Yeah.
have your own business of Arte Agave, and so it's an honor. It's a lot of excitement because for me, before I talk about Tequila Cazadores, I talk about tequila as a category.
Yeah.
I
Right.
love to talk
Right.
about the story about tequila. What is tequila actually, no? And then I get paid for this, and
What a job, man. What a job. He's just rubbing it in now. I got to throw fiestas and talk about tequila at the greatest time for tequila ever.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm right there with you, man. Emily and I, we went into DC. We're talking to our artists. We have this whole like build out that we're trying to do for DC. And he was like asking us how we started this. And I was like 9 years ago, man, we had to beg people to show up at our event. I mean, there was like interest and people were curious, but it's not like it is today. Now it's just like boom. I mean, this category is just crazy right now, with so many new brands coming out over and over again. But yeah, man, it's like I'm super excited that I kind of started this, almost a decade ago to where we're at now, where we can go to different cities and people are interested and the brands are ready. It's very, very exciting. Out of like all the things that I do, other events, we do some whiskey events and stuff, but like the Arte Agave has just been, like you said, it's on fire and it's fun. You know what I mean? Like we do other events with like whiskey brands and it's a little more, kind of, I wouldn't say a little more stuffy, but like, like, to me,
You guys do a good fiestas.
you're essentially Arte Agave. You walk in, and it's like, here we go. We're gonna educate, but we're gonna have fun. And there's gonna be so many layers: the mariachi and the stilt walkers and the luchadores and the what boom 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 boom. So yeah, man, I'm right there with you. I'm excited because I love tequila. I love drinking tequila. I love drinking mezcal. But like to be in this category at this time, it's super super exciting.
It is, it is. And how long have you guys been doing Arte Agave?
Almost 10 years. Yeah, 2012 is when we did our
Also,
first event. Yeah.
also, you know better how's been the transition of tequila as a category.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, when we started it was we had a lot of the basic brands, I wouldn't say basic, just the well-known brands. But it was I knew there was an interest because I was a bartender at that time when I started the business, when I started the events. And I noticed a lot of people were like, "Hey, I recognize, company A and B, but what else is out there? And what is this reposado thing that people talk about? What is a nega?" Like people didn't even know. Forget even mezcal. They thought that was a new thing that came up, 5 years ago. 5 years later, but like people were just asking about different brands, and they were asking about anejo and reposado. That was the big thing. People were just like, "What is this? What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh." This is something that people are interested in. And I was interested in it. So I wanted to create an event that was like just welcoming. It didn't have to be connoisseurs, just people that could just come in and ask the questions. But like the brands, it was, now we could fill the events with brands and mezcal brands. But back, 10 years ago, it was, when I say I was literally begging people to show up, I was begging people to show up.
I believe you.
But now everyone's like, tequila, I'm in. I want to know. I want to drink. I want cocktails. So it's been nice to be part of that journey and part of that rise of the agave
Oh,
category.
and then for next Arte Agave, I have a surprise for you guys.
All right, is it just gonna be a surprise that we're just gonna find
No,
out then?
we have a surprise. The way that we're going to present ourselves to these consumer events.
Okay. All right. I
Uh,
love it. I want to hear more. But that's what I love about Arte Agave too, is like it, with other events that I've seen or other events that we do, it's always pretty basic, except for Arte Agave, because brands, especially like you guys, Cazador is always there on fire. We're giving away a hat. We're doing a thing. We've got the tasting. Like you always cover the basics. Like let's do a nice cocktail and let's do some tastings. But there's always like this little extra excitement around Cazadores and what you guys do. So I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped that you guys are gonna be part of it again, and I'm excited to see what you guys are going to bring to the Arte Agave experience.
oh yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to
Nice.
look super cool. It's still very traditional, very unique. It's going a little bit. Part of the roadshow that I've been doing is because we've been presenting all this new image of Tequila Cazadores,
Yeah.
and we have a lot of surprises. We've been presenting these new materials, this celebration of 100 years to all these markets that they are, the state managers, regional managers, all distributors, which is Southern Wine Spirits, Southern Wine and Glacier Spirits, and then so it's I'm super excited for 2022. I think it's our year. I think hopefully it's your year. I think it's everybody's year because after the pandemic, we all have a really tough job, and I think everybody's coming with everything. We went from 0 to 100,
Yeah.
and talking about a little bit about the pandemic, I really like that a lot of people they took the opportunity to educate themselves.
Yeah.
Everybody was on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, But what I mean that is, it was not only just to make silly videos. It was about to educate themselves about things that they believe.
Mm.
Like, I want to make a cocktail and I want to make it with tequila. What kind of tequila I want to use? How I should make a cocktail? And people, they were just getting crazy at home, because I mean, in a good way.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
probably before, like, what are supposed to do, but then they find some ways to have fun at home, and it was through making some cocktails and educating themselves. And I feel very proud when I talk to people and they tell me these stories, being like, "Oh, Alan, I always drink tequila, but they never knew actually about the process about tequila, or what was the difference between reposado and añejo, or a tequila from the highlands of Jalisco, or from Jalisco, or from Tamaulipas, no?" And then and I feel very proud for those people. I'm like, you go. If you go to drink tequila, you better talk about a little bit about tequila, just at least the basics, no?
Yeah, I agree. And we did so many virtual events that it was so nice because at the events they're great, but you only sometimes you only get like 30 seconds, or you get 2 minutes, or you get 3 minutes to like tell your story. When we did these virtual events, we sat down for people for 30 minutes, an hour, and tasted, talk. And to your point, people at home were like, okay, now's my time. Now's my time to learn and ask the questions, because I don't think people really know. I think people thought tequila was just, I don't know. And then they're like, wait, what do you mean? The agave plant grows for 8 years, 12 years, 16 years? Like,
It's not coming from cactus.
yeah, yeah, exactly like that. They think it's like bourbon. It's like corn. We just make corn every year, and we mash it up, and people have no clue what goes into it. And I think this, to your point, over the last 2 years is when people got quote unquote nerdy about it, and really learn like where this is from and that process. And I think it's just added to the category, because I think before people just thought it was, I don't know if it, maybe 10 years ago, it was just looked down upon as just something quickly made and cheap. And then they realized like, oh, wow, the science and the farmers and the agave plant that goes into making this spirit is way more intense than I ever thought it was. And I think that's helped like take this category. I mean, what is it? Number 2 in America now, selling behind bourbon or something? Is it one, right? It just passed.
Well, at least in right now in New York, it used to be whiskey,
Yeah.
and now right now it is tequila. I think in overall United States, I think it's number 2, but
Yeah.
it's going there.
Yeah.
It's growing super fast.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's because it's like, some people are like, well, I drink this in the summer, I drink whiskey in the winter. With tequila, it's like, I don't think there's really, no one ever said any rules. Like, yes, it's very a summer. Like, I love it in the summertime, but like, I love it in the winter. Like, even as a bartender, I never heard any rules of when to drink tequila. For some reason, everyone's like, well, I drink rosé in the summer, I drink my bourbon in the winter, and I drink my red wine and with tequila, you're just like, December, let's drink tequila.
Yeah,
January
yeah.
or
No,
June,
no, no,
let's drink
no.
tequila.
For cocktails, maybe, but to
Yeah.
enjoy tequila in general,
Yeah.
any occasion.
I agree with that. Even if reposado or anejo, I'm in the winter, summertime, I'll drink some tequila cocktails. It doesn't matter to me, man.
Oh yeah, talking about cocktails, I don't know if you knew,
Mhm.
but Tequila Cazadores released some tequila can cocktails.
We
Do
saw
you
it. We
ever
saw it
see
in
these?
Austin last year.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever tasted them before or no?
I tasted one of them quickly. I don't. Here's the thing that sucks about doing my events. Like, I don't ever get a chance to really enjoy it and
Oh,
drink.
I brought it to Arte Agave. I remember
Yep.
now.
Yep.
Yes, yes,
Yep.
yes. Well, it's something that we just started last year, and we are very proud because we are the only one at the moment that we have 100% blue weather agave tequila
Yeah.
in a can. It's a lot of, they say, margaritas or ranch waters around there,
So what
but
what what what
it's
is
not
it?
even tequila, which is
Uh,
crazy.
so what is it in the other ones?
The other ones, it could be a tequila mixto, which is a
Mhm.
tequila which is fermented at the still with 51% agave, and the rest is Sugars could be molasses or sugar cane. And the other ones is not even tequila, which is like kind of mash, some kind of grain alcohol. But they
Yeah.
call it tequila because it has lime and agave. I'm sorry, they call it margarita
Margarita.
because it has lime and agave. And then because margarita, it is not a registered
Yeah.
kind of
Right.
a brand.
You can just do whatever you want. You can call it whatever you want.
Exactly. So a lot of people, be careful, guys, when you go and drink your canned cocktails. Make sure it has tequila because sometimes it doesn't have tequila. And if you want to try something 100% blue weber agave tequila, you can do tequila cazadores. We have a paloma.
Yeah.
We have a spicy margarita.
Yum.
And then we have a classic margarita.
Perfect.
And they are all natural ingredients. It's no additives, no the artificial flavors. I'm very proud because I was part of the team to develop the flavors and aromas from these canned cocktails. So this is like my babies. So when you have the opportunity, please try them. Give me your feedback because we have more surprises to come. And it's one of the things that it makes my job very cool. Because it not only represents the brand, but then also I part the, like a little details about the bottles. I'm in the meetings. I have my voice there, and then to the new bottles, the new cans. We have a new RTS.
Nice.
This is for a specific, market. But then also it's just for the 100-year anniversary, for the new surprise, I'm telling you, for the new commercial presentation from the brand. It's I really, on top of that, I'm traveling a lot.
Yeah.
I'm in a lot of meetings. I'm on the call all the time, virtual meetings, and it's not all of them, but the ones that it matters and they want my feedback because me and Manny Nojosa, the global brand ambassadors, we're from Mexico. We're born and raised in Mexico, and we love our country. We love our traditions, and we want to be Tequila Cazadores is about being very traditional. It's 100 years old. We need to be very authentic, very genuine. And I think I feel very proud that a lot of these decisions that there are Tequila Cazadores they're taking, my voice is there. So it's something very cool.
Dude, that is so cool that like 100-year-old brand, you're putting a little bit of your stamp on what it looks like today, man. That is like, and that doesn't get any better than that. I mean, it's one thing to throw a fiesta, but then to have like your little, thoughts and ideas and a little nuance from Alan into the brand, that's super cool, dude.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's because I feel very involved, and I feel included and being part of the brand. It's and it's something that this is the only brand I worked before. I never worked for another brand.
That's awesome.
So I don't know actually. I know how the other brands in Bacardi works, but I don't know actually how other companies like Pernod or Diageo. I'm guessing it's very similar, but I don't know how much actually the ambassadors they had a voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, that's awesome you're making me super jealous with your job now. Now it's like, it went from really cool to be like, wow, this is amazing.
You can do always part-time and maybe full-time.
Put me in, coach. I'm kind of mad at these cans now. I don't think I really knew that you could throw junk into the cans because let's be honest, the ready to drinks are all over the place. There's a lot in the tequila world, and I think like tequila for me back in the day, I thought it was all just tequila, and I thought it was like rules like bourbon. Bourbon's like you can't add anything in this, that, da, 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 da. And then I found out tequila. I'm like, oh, you can add a bunch of junk. And I think with the ready to drinks, I thought I was thinking the same thing that you had to use tequila. Like if you're calling it tequila, you have to use tequila. And now I'm finding out, obviously, right here that like you can just mix though and add junk, and just put whatever you want in a can and call it a tequila cocktail. Just very
Yeah,
disappointing.
crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, kudos for you guys for actually making it with real tequila.
It is something that, because that reason, our cans, they are 5.9 alcohol by volume, but because we use 100% blue Weber agave, our prices are a little more expensive than the other ones, but you are enjoying quality, you
Yeah.
know? So it's depending on the consumers, what they want, at the end it's their decision. But this is what we offer. We
Yeah.
offer a quality, a delicious cocktail, a great alcohol by volume, all natural ingredients. So it's a win-win-win-win situation.
Yeah, I think you're going to win in the end because I mean, people are so conscious of what's going into their body and they're conscious of where everything's coming from. Just telling the story. Like I said, you just got me where I'm just like, now I'm going to go to every brand that I know and be like, hey, man, what's in your can? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Um,
especially, something, last thing I want to mention. We have the Norma Mexicana, the NOM, or
oh,
4 digits, where it says where of the distillery, where is the tequila's coming from.
yeah. Wow.
I think is none other ready to drink cocktail that it has the 4 digits of the NOM. Because
Oh,
I've been
man.
asking, and they're like, "Wait, what is coming you tequila?" And they're like, let me get
Yeah.
you back to you."
Yeah. They don't know. No one knows. I'm going to pepper everybody that I know and be like, hey, what is it? And they're going to be like, I don't know. Well, listen, buddy, this is always a pleasure talking to you. Like I said, I had energy before this, and now I'm like at another level. Before we hang up again, just remind everybody, your Instagram, was it cazadores.com? Where can people buy it? Plug away if you can for our listeners.
So again, Alan Ruesga Pelayo, Norte America Tequila Cazadores brand ambassador. Please follow me on social media. Let's be connected. Let's be friends. My social media is at Alan Ruesga, my first last name. And then I travel a lot. I hopefully whatever market or in the United States, wherever we are, hopefully we can connect. We can be friends. If you're looking for Tequila Cazadores, I think the best way to find it is through Drizzly. Drizzly is an app that you can buy through your closer liquor store, and they can deliver it to you. And then you can find out where exactly they carry Tequila Cazadores, and it can be for the bottles, for the RTD, for the RTS. And then, yeah, I can't wait to go and hang out with you guys.
Listen, brother, I'm very excited. It's cool doing Arte Agave, but it's even cooler when you walk in the door because I'm like, okay, here we go. And I know we had some fun in Austin after the event, so thank you and Team Cazadores, Team Picardi for showing us a really good time. It was like a party after a speakeasy after something. I was like, oh, this is not going to end. I got to get out of here. It was like 2 in the morning.
It's
So
always a little after parties with me. It's people who knows me, they know.
we tried to hang with you, buddy, but my wife and I are like, all right, we got to get out of here, man. This guy's not going to end. So we appreciate your hospitality, man. It's really nice, and thank you and thank Cazadores for being part of Arte Agave and supporting us, man. So I appreciate it, and I enjoy this conversation. Thank you.
No, thank you for inviting me. Seriously, it's a great friendship that we have with you guys and with Arte Agave. It's something that we've been building with the years. Always great to see you guys. Great to see you how you guys are becoming so successful, and it's super cool that I think this is the second time we're doing kind of like a virtual kind of like conversation.
Yep.
So thank you for inviting me, and I can wait until the next time. Yes.
Of course, of course. Well, I appreciate you, buddy. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you.
Bye bye.